Hello everyone, and welcome to the 2021 Baldwin Wiffleball Draft. I'm your host and commissioner, Austin Bexold here, and we got a very exciting night tonight as Baldwin Wiffleball expands by 2 teams from 6 now to 8, which means more draft picks, 5 rounds, 40 picks in total tonight. And I got my analysts alongside to be able to break it all down with me, Nathan Brysinger, Andrew GOLVASH, and Aaron EXLER. Guys, thanks for joining me. What are you looking forward to in tonight's draft?
Well, thank you, Austin. I'm here again, like you mentioned, with former Black Bear teammates and 2 expert analysts that will go through break down some of the players that are going along. So, alongside me, Andrew GOLVASH. Thanks for hopping along. Andrew was missed a lot of early on last season, but he came in, was a crucial part of the Black Bears team in a championship run.
Yeah, I had some work issues, but now that I've got that all cleared up, I'm ready for a nice and fun season of wiffleball. Pleasure to be here.
And also alongside us is Aaron EXLER, who signed with the Carolina Wolves and will miss this wiffleball season as he will drop the plastic bat and pick up the wooden bat. X, thanks for joining us.
Hey, it's great to be here. Hopefully this year is a very good year. Yeah, last year we had a great year, hoping for a good upturn and hoping that this draft turns out well.
And boys, as we get into the picks, let's quickly, before we get into that, as you saw before, let's look at EXLER'S top 40 draft prospects.
All right.
Into the night.
So I based it off of 5 different categories: speed, IQ, fielding, batting, and pitching. Basically, that's how the list will be going on here. Jake Monroe is my #1 choice. Known him since high school. He's played baseball, very good player. As we keep going, you can see the names on the list. A lot of people that we've had from last year, a lot of new faces, so it's going to be very different this year in this year's draft for every team.
Yeah, a lot of guys you have on that list, a lot of different players that can make some noise within the league. Some of your picks I don't agree with, but
A lot of people don't agree with, actually.
Hey, it's all right.
But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
We'll provide our analysis moving forward, but let's send it back over to Austin as he's preparing us for the first overall pick of the 2021 Baldwin Wiffleball Draft.
Thank you, guys. And as you said, first pick on the clock is an expansion team. It goes to Nick TERRIT. He hit the most clutch home run in the whole entire championship game last year, a 3-run home run to push the Chicken Feeders ahead of the Bulls, the Fire Bulls, even with a lot of Firebirds playing for the Bulls, to be able to advance and win the championship game in Game 3. He's now taking over as the captain of the Scorpions, and the Scorpions, with the first pick, are now on the clock. Guys, what do you think that the Scorpions are going to do with the first pick? A lot of intriguing options. Who do you think that Nick TERRIT goes with to be the first pick of the 2nd annual Baldwin Wiffleball Draft?
So I think it's going to be between 2 people. BRYCE CHAPLA showed up last year, didn't really play as much, but showed a lot of potential with his pitching talents and his hitting talents, has a good baseball background. And Jake Monroe, another person I put on my top 40 list, good baseball background, can basically do everything just like BRYCE. So it's going to be one of those 2, I think. What do you guys think?
I think BRYCE is a lock for it. I mean, he really showed out in the playoffs last year. He was an elite bat and also was an elite arm. I mean, I just don't see how do you not take him. How do you not take BRYCE?
Yeah, if you could pull up that top 40 graphic again from Aaron EXLER'S analysis, taking a look at some of the players, like he mentioned, Jake Monroe, BRYCE CHAPLA, a guy that came in. Aaron, you have Mason HOYDICK up there, was a great pitcher all year long, and there you have your top 24 right there. So there's a lot of names to choose from, but I think there's a couple that stand out, as you mentioned. Jake Monroe, BRYCE CHAPLA, along those lines, you know, definitely some picks that Nick has to consider going in with the top.
Maybe we could see a sneak brother connection. We could see the pick of Alex TERRIT here. You really don't know. It could be anybody.
That's what we were thinking.
I think a lot of people, for some reason, are overlooking Alex TERRIT, but he's a very strong pick. He was runner-up in the MVP last year.
He was.
Mr. EXLER, but he's a guy that can definitely go on the pick. And if we're ready, Austin, let's send it back over for the first pick in the draft.
Thank you, guys. And with the first pick in the 2021 Baldwin Wiffleball Draft, the Scorpions select Alex TERRIT, formerly of the Chicken Feeders. Nick TERRIT keeps his brother. No matter what, boys, no matter what, was the pick from Nick TERRIT. What do you think?
Honestly, I think it's a pretty good pick. I definitely thought he's going to fall back a little bit, but here's a little bit of the stats. He played 15 games last year. He got 11 home runs. Batted .661.
Pretty good year. He's very good at fielding. He's got some speed. He attends Washington and Jefferson, and you know, I definitely think he's an athlete, and he can definitely represent his squad.
I mean, you can't teach that kind of size and speed and power in anybody, and Alex definitely shows that he was an elite power bat, and he was able to do a lot on the field, and I think he'll be a great addition for this team.
Yeah, Andrew, you called it the brother-brother connection, but let's send it back over to Austin at the desk.
Thank you, guys. Now joined by Nick TERRIT, the captain of the Scorpions. Nick, you picked your brother Alex. What was the decision like? And really, from the get-go, was it ever a decision?
So, it's always a decision in the draft to determine who's going to be number one. In my opinion, it came down to 3 players. It came down to Isaiah, Bryce, and Alex. And for my opinion, it came down to really commitment. Bryce wasn't there a lot. I couldn't really trust my gut to take Bryce because I didn't know what he was going to do. But I trusted Alex, I know he'd be there. And once again, I knew from the start it was going to be Alex. It's that brother-to-brother connection. It's that no matter what, that he'll always have my back, regardless of how our outcome is in our season. So that's why I decided to take Alex TERRIT, number 1. Keep it with the family.
All right, Nick. Really appreciate it, man. Now, with the second pick, my team, the Firebirds, are now on the clock. Guys, what do you think I'm going to do? What do you think my pick is going to be?
Well, I've been trying to get this pick out of you for months, and I have no idea who it's going to be. I have no clue. I have a feeling you talked about how you need to have pitching this year, and I think your pick's going to be Isaiah. I think Isaiah's going to be your pick.
Yeah, Isaiah's a good pick there. I think he provides some strong pitching, but he also provides a bat. But also, you got to look at the St. E's connection. Jake Monroe, he's up there, number 1 on EXLER'S draft stock. I think Austin goes with that bold move and goes with Jake Monroe with the pick.
Like I said with the first pick, I think it's going to go either to two guys, CHAPLA or Monroe. It's really a toss-up. I think they're both equally the same talent level, and it could go either way. We could see someone like Isaiah, like he said, and I can also see someone like Teddy kind of slipping in that spot. Good
Teddy,
fielding.
You have him a bit high.
You explained your
he's a pretty
reasoning
good
for
guy.
Teddy at 6, but that is just with all these names on here to put Teddy in that same conversation is ridiculous.
Statistically, he was good enough to be in my top 10 and even in my top 8. So,
Well, guys, Austin Bechtel's Firebirds last year, 2-18, looking to have a big rebound year. Let's see who goes with the second
They
overall
need a
pick.
savior.
Austin.
I got to say, guys, I'm nervous. I went 2-18 last year. I can't screw it up this year. And I think that I got the guy that's going to be able to help me out to be able to do just so. So with the second pick in the 2021 Baldwin Wiffleball draft, the Firebirds select Jake Monroe to be on my team this year. Big power bat. I really like what he brings to the table. Now, he has been battling some injuries, but guys, I really think that he's going to be the guy that can put me over the top to be able to get where I need to be.
yeah, back in high school, Jake Monroe, he actually started ahead of me at third base, and he's been a real role model. I played basketball, I played football with him, I played baseball. Very great kid, very good leader. He'll definitely show up. He'll definitely produce a lot. I think he's a potential MVP runner this season.
Yeah, I think this is a great choice by Austin. In terms of rebuilding a team that wasn't very good last year, he's honestly, he makes a step in the right direction right away.
I think it might be the best thing he's done so far at the start of the league, if you ask me.
Very big pick with Jake Monroe going there. As you saw, great stats in high school, off in college right now as a kicker. And I had some personal, running ins with him and wiffleball when I was younger. He used to come over with DANY KOLSKI, who's also in this draft, a newcomer to the league. Jake Monroe used to come over sometimes in the backyard rake, put up some big homer numbers. Hopefully seeing that this year in the league. But as we move ahead, the Bandits with the number 3 pick. And we'll send it back over to Austin with that.
Yes, as you said, Nate, now the Bandits are back on the clock, and the Bandits are now captained by Tommy Allen. Now, he was originally supposed to be the captain of the Gators last year. That didn't end up working out because of multiple different things that happened, and obviously complications with COVID-19 too, making sure to play it safe. But with the third pick, and Bryce Chapel still on the board, is that the direction that Tommy Allen could go? I'm sure that he's pretty familiar with Bryce from a baseball background. What do you guys think could be the pick?
I mean, I personally think it has to be Bryce. I mean, he's too good of a player to slip to 4. I think 3 is a perfect spot. Tommy Allen, who didn't really get a chance to play this year due to COVID concerns, and I think there's a whole lot of potential here. I think Bryce is the clear and obvious pick. I'm curious what you guys have on that.
Yeah, Bryce is a good pick there. I mean, I'm not sure how closely Tommy followed along last year just because he wasn't around, but he's got a big pick here with number 3. There's a couple big names still on the draft board. Ax, any insight real quick?
If anything, people I could think of could potentially fall in that spot, maybe Andy Griffiths and probably Isaiah Hansen. But like I said, I think it's going to be Bryce Chapla. I think he's going to fall in that spot. He's got the pitching support, and you really need that in this league to really
He said
well.
he's committed to play this year. Whether he'll actually do that, I don't know. But if he has the ability to play, I say he has to go right now. Now we throw it back to Austin.
Thank you, GOLVASH. And now, boys, it's time to be able to make the selection. Now, with this selection of the Bandits, the 3rd overall pick in the Baldwin Wiffleball draft. Tommy Allen's Bandits select Bryce Chapla, formerly of the Bulls. Bryce will step in right away for the Bulls and be a dynamic pitcher and also hitter. What do you think, guys?
Well, we saw what he could do last year. Actually, ending our season as the Black Bears. Black Bears were deep. Shout out to Jeremy down over there.
Yes, sir.
Bryce came in and was a dominant pitcher. We know what he brings to the table. We know he brings a big lefty bat. And as you can see, just in 6 games played, 1.40 ERA, 4 homers, 13 RBIs.
He was basically like DeGrom out there. I mean, we couldn't touch him. Even Exler had trouble hitting him at times. So I think he's gonna bring in elite pitching, which in this league, pitching is everything. You can hit the ball as far as, which is what we saw. We could hit the ball as far as we wanted. But if we couldn't pitch, we'd still end up losing games. So I think Tommy took the right step in direction.
We can obviously see the dominance he has on the mound. Obviously, he put up a lot of numbers. 20 innings pitched, only give up 4 runs, 1.4 ERA. That's very impressive in this league. A lot of these guys aren't even close to that. He had a pretty good year. He goes to Penn State right now. Went to high school at Baldwin, and definitely was a good choice.
Yeah, and coming up here in the 4th pick, Joey Shields and the Thunder, a new team, with a new pick. 4th overall, let's see what he goes with. Austin, you're ready with the pick. Let's see what he got.
I'm indeed ready. Now with that 4th pick in the Ball Wiffleball draft, the Thunder, expansion team now by Joey Shields from rebranding from the Tiger Swans now to the Thunder, select Mason HOYDICK. Joey keeps part of the Tiger Swans together and selects Mason HOYDICK to join his team. Joey, why did you decide to make this pick?
I feel like Mason's one of the best pitchers in the league. He had the 2nd best ERA in the league, and he's also one of the better hitters in the league too. I believe he was in the batting leaderboard. With that kind of versatility, it's hard to pass him up at number 4.
No doubt about that. Now, coming up with the 5th pick is the Gators, run by Luke Couture. I think this is one of the most well-known picks of who we think is going to be the selection, one of the most talked about. But guys, quickly, who do you think that it could be with Luke Couture taking at number 5?
Well, I want to start here and go back, take a step back and go to that Joey pick with Mason HOYDICK. I kind of felt that coming with that Baldwin volleyball connection going there, riding with Mason HOYDICK, also a teammate of his last year. And also, Mason was originally on the Firebirds last year. And a trade, maybe a mistake by the Firebirds that led to that not-so-good record, but HOYDICK definitely helped out Joey Shields and Tyler GURCHAK's team last year.
I mean, he's definitely been a sneaky good player in this league. No one really looks at him as like a top 5, top 10 player in this league. But in reality, as Shields was saying, you know, he pitches really well. He doesn't really blow you away with speed. He more is a location. He gets you out with good pitches. And then he's an elite bat.
Yeah, as you can see, he can pitch. That's his number 1 strong suit. But he can hit. He was finished 2nd in the league in hits. Very good bat. He gets on base a lot.
Sneaky quick.
He would hit the ball on the ground and get on base. Very good contact hitter. The only thing I can see as a problem with him is maybe a little bit of power. Maybe this year he works on it. And, you know, he does get out easy a lot by putting the ball on the ground towards the pitcher or shortstop, and it really gets on his end. But other than that, I think Mason's a good choice and a good fit for that team.
Yeah, Exler, some deep insight on Mason HOYDICK. But going with this Couture and Gators pick, definitely named a circle. I think you go with Matt MONGELLUZZO. I think it might be the pick. Let's see what Couture goes with. Send it back to Austin.
With the 5th pick in the 2021 Baldwin Wiffleball draft, the Gators select Matt MONGELLUZZO. He stays on the Gators for the 2nd straight year with Luke Couture. Now, Luke, you were stuck with Mongo another year. Why did you decide to take him in the 1st round?
Hey, last year, Mongo and I created a good bond, and he's a player that can pitch, he can hit, he can play the field, he can do it all. He's a good team player, and I think he's going to be a good co-leader with me and take the Gators to a 2021 championship.
All right, Luke, lots of high aspirations
I like
there.
that.
What do our analysts think?
I mean, Mongo, Couture, they basically went together like bread and butter last year. I mean, they became best of friends. Mongo's, as you said, he can do it all. He's the perfect kind of guy you need on a team. He can pitch, he can hit, he can field. He can do it all, and that's in reality all you need in this league.
Yeah, so some pros and cons I got on him. Very good contact hitter. Not really. The one thing he lacks the most is power. Does pitch very well. He had concerns. He had a little bit of an injury in the arm. Also, he runs very well, and he had very good wiffleball/baseball IQ, which is very important for some of these teams.
Yeah, and that 1-2 punch of Couture and Mongo pitching, that's pretty deadly in the league, and I think those guys, they bring the heat when they're pitching, and also Matt MONGELLUZZO, one thing he really brings is that emotion to the game. He's really emotionally involved within wiffleball,
and anything he's played.
So those dynamic duo, that's going to be one to look out for. But with the 6th pick, the Bulls, they're on the board. Austin?
with the 6th pick in the 2021 Baldwin Wiffleball Draft, John Ziegler's Bulls select Dom DITORO, staying with the Bulls for another year after last year only being there for half the year. Coming up, the Black Bears are on the clock, but Ziggy sticking with Dom this year. Dynamic pitcher. Why'd you make the move?
Yeah, whenever we started out 0-4 last year, we were really down in the dumps. I reached out to Dom, and he was a very dynamic pitcher, and he provided another arm, and we just had a really good rotation, and I kind of wanted to keep that same energy. Very fast. We were track mates in high school, and he's just a great all-around player, and it's going to be an exciting year.
I like it. Guys, what do you think over at the desk?
Well, I think that makes a little bit of a shake-up. It's a bold pick. Exeter had him at 10 on the list, but he goes 6th to the Bulls. John Ziegler sticking with them as another guy who's really an emotionally involved guy. He runs a high-energy guy. He can throw hard. And it goes with John Ziegler's philosophy of just running the bases.
Speed kills.
Right.
Speed kills. So.
Yeah, I
Pretty
definitely
good pick by John.
said, he's definitely one of the best pitchers in the league. A lot of velocity. We've seen that. A lot of people, didn't like it, which is a good thing because he can really produce it, which he can really dominate. Very good contact hitter. Very fast in the base path. Was perfect for his team. Little concerns though. The attendance was an issue, but that was, circumstances. And he really just was a little too enthusiastic, but that's a good thing sometimes.
Sometimes you like that fire, don't you? You always like
Indeed.
that fire in a player.
Right?
Well, Black Bears roll deep, and Jeremy Novikowski's on the board with the 7th overall pick. Awesome.
Let's go Bears.
Black Bears do roll deep. Let's see if some of them continue to be on the same team. It's been a common theme with the 7th pick in the 2021 Baldwin Wiffleball Draft. A little bit of surprise. The Black Bears select Andrew GOLVASH. He sticks with the Black Bears, and he's a first-round pick. The Seahorses, being rebranded from the Chicken Feeders to the Seahorses, are now on the clock. Jeremy Novikowski, you're taking over as the captain for Aaron Exler, basically as a co-captain role, but taking over the mainstay of the team this year. Why did you decide to go with GOLVASH in the first round?
So when I first met GOLVASH, we clicked, and I never talked to him beforehand. I knew of him, but once we met, there was just a bond, and it's never going to be broken. And he's a phenomenal player. He's a reliable pitcher. He might have problems with showing up, but once he shows up, he can hit really well, he can pitch really well, he can field really well, he has a lot of speed. So overall, I think he's a great player.
GOLVASH, please respond. I'd love to hear this.
Oh my God. But I mean, Jeremy proves a good point. I mean, when I did show up, I did perform well. I can hit the ball pretty well at times, and I'm more reliable as a pitcher. But I mean, hopefully, Jeremy, I won't let you down, buddy. I promise.
Yeah, Jeremy and I, we talked about it a lot. It was between two people, and the first person got picked. First overall, Alex TERRIT. That was our first option. But good things he brings to the table. We really like how he pitched. He's good at IQ. He knew what he was doing. He hits for contact, which is nice. He can run a lot, which is good. Well, the only thing we had problem was he lacked in the offensive production, meaning hitting base runners in. But when you had guys in front of him hitting home runs, didn't really give him the option. But other than that, I thought he's a pretty solid pick for us.
Yeah, and I mean, I thought your problem there that you were the
I thought you were going to say the attendance problem. That's the big
issue,
one.
But I agree with a lot of the strong suits that GOLVASH brings. Our buddy sticking with the Black Bears pick, Jeremy, a good pick there. But speed kills, and GOLVASH brings in another high energy guy. GOLVASH just loves the game. He loves to be there. He loves the people. So
When I show up.
With the 8th pick, the last of the first round, back to Austin with the Seahorses. Collins on the field.
Yes, thank you guys. Now with the 8th pick, the Chicken Feeders now becoming the Seahorses. With the 8th pick in the 2021 Baldwin Wiffleball Draft, the Seahorses select Isaiah Hansen. How he fell this far, don't know how. Former Chicken Feeder, now becomes a Seahorse. Colin, Colin, make sure you have the mic.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And why did you decide to make the pick of Isaiah?
I had to make the pick of Isaiah because he's clearly a top 3 player in this league, and he fell to 8th, which is very nice. And he was on my team last year, produced very good numbers for me, and he's a great player to have, very good friend, great player to have. That's about it.
All right, Colin. What do you guys think over the desk?
Well, I think this is a great pick. I mean, he fell right into the hands of Colin, sticking with that TJ connection. A lot of talent in this league out of Thomas Jefferson. And here's one of those guys, Isaiah Hansen. The postseason MVP last year, helping the Chicken Feeders win a championship title. And you can't go wrong with Isaiah Hansen here.
Exactly. In the words of Colin, he's a great player to have, and he's not wrong. I mean, he pitches lights out anytime he's on the mound, and he can provide a little pop in his bat whenever you need to. I mean, great all-around player.
Yeah, he had a 5.12 ERA, which is really good compared to everyone else as you see in the league. You know, a lot of good things. Knows what he's doing, pitches very well, can hit, you know, whenever you need power. The only thing we lacked was a little bit of fielding, but that can always be worked on. And pretty much, I think he's an overall pick. He was in my top 5. So far, all 5 of my top 5 have been picked. And, you know, it's looking pretty well so far in the top 40.
Not too shabby, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely see where the Seahorses team could go. If they can go back-to-back as the rebranded Seahorses from the Chicken Feeders. But Austin's ready with the first pick of the second round. Let's send it back over to Mr. Commissioner.
Yes, Nate, we're now back to the starting the second round, but back to the Scorpions and Captain Nick TERRIT. And with the 9th pick of the 2021 Baldwin Wiffleball Draft, the Scorpions select Danny KOLSKI, a new player to the league and a big rising star for Nick TERRIT to join along Alex TERRIT. Danny, who can pitch and can also play pretty well in the field. Nick, what was the decision in picking Danny to go along with Alex?
Thank you, Commissioner, for that. The reason why I picked Danny is because my first 3 options on the board were Dom, Mason, and Isaiah. Naturally, since they were picked at the first 3 spots, I had to go with another pitcher who I believed could pitch the ball and also hit the ball. So I went with Danny with that little W&J connection that my brother has. And, you know, I'm excited to see what Danny has in store. I know he has a lot of experience playing baseball before. He's pitched the ball. He's hit the ball. I've seen his throw before. He looks good, and I'm excited for him to be a Scorpion. And welcome to the Scorpion family.
EXLER, did you play some baseball with Danny? What do you think of his overall skill set and just what he could bring to the table this year?
Didn't really play much with him, but from what I've known of, I mean, he knows what he's doing. Basic IQ. A little bit of baseball, not really a power hitter from what I remember, more of a contact guy, fielded pretty well, and he was a pretty decent player. I actually ranked him 28th on my list. I didn't think he was going to fall into the top 5 or not even in the top 10, but I guess there it is. That's his pick, man. What do you guys think?
Well, Austin went with you first for the expert analysis.
But Nate should have been the expert opinion.
Danny KOLSKI lives three horses.
Three seahorses down.
But 3 doors down for me. 2 doors down. I don't know. Anyway, Nick, I love this pick going with Danny KOLSKI. He was low on EXLER'S board of the draft stock, but I think just the unknown with him coming into the league. But Danny's a big guy, big power hitter. He's been hitting the gym. I see him sometimes walking into his house. He's looking ripped. I think he's ready to go. I think this is a huge pick for Nick, and I think it's a big surprise. But I think this is going to be really helpful for Nick TERRIT and his team.
I was going to say, I don't know much about KOLSKI, but I just feel like he's going to be an absolute stick with the bat.
Yeah, KOLSKI used to hang out in the backyard, same with Jake sometimes, but KOLSKI hitting a lot of home runs out of my backyard and the short porch on right field. But Austin seems pretty excited to be back on the board, so let's see what he's got with his next pick in the second round.
I tell you what, guys, after that pick of Danny KOLSKI, I was shocked that that's the direction that Nick TERRIT went with, but I'm fine with it. With the 10th pick in the 2021 Baldwin Wiffleball Draft, the Firebirds select Andy Griffiths, formerly of the Chicken Feeders, going now to my squad of the Firebirds. Very excited to have you on board, Andy. We talked earlier about it. We've been talking a lot about it. Guys, what do you make of my selection of Andy, who in the playoffs hit about .641, but everybody was sleeping on him coming into the draft?
Well, the only reason we were sleeping on him is because he kind of went sleeping during the middle part of the season. I mean, he started off lightning hot in his first couple games. I mean, obviously he can hit the ball really well. He hits for contact very well. He can hit for power when he needs to, and is also a very nice fielder as well. I mean, so far the commish is 2 for 2 so far. I have no complaints.
Austin should rename his team the St. Elizabeth. The Lancers, right? My correct?
Yeah, Andy did not go to St. Eve's though.
Oh, I thought he was one of the St. Eve's boys. There's a spider crawling across the desk.
Dude, I was scared for my life.
It fell earlier.
But I think that's a great pick. He fell right into the lap of Austin there. Huge pick and pick up for him. Great bat. Great guy to have on that team for Austin.
Yeah, definitely. At the beginning of the year, started off red hot. I believe he had like 5 home runs that first weekend, 5 to 7, somewhere around there.
Because Nate was pitching.
Yeah. He produces a lot of power at the beginning of the year. We started to see it to slow down towards the end of the year. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just, nerves or whatever it was. But the only thing I could say that's wrong about him is he does lack pitching. But hey, Austin's team's looking pretty good.
Yeah, if you have Bryce CHAPLA, you don't have to worry about as much as that.
Nah, it's Jake Monroe actually.
Is Jake Monroe? Yikes.
Jake Monroe, he's going to be nice in this league. So I think those are so far a pretty good squad. I think.
Yeah, and Austin, another big pick like we just kept mentioning. A lot of names going off the boards early here. A lot of big names. Teams are starting to shape up early. What team are you guys looking at so far? I mean, early in the second round. Any picks that really surprised you, as we mentioned in the first round? Any teams, I mean, with the first 2 and 3 picks for some of these teams look good for these teams?
I mean, I was shocked that I went 7th, but I think Mr. Ski, Mr. Jeremy over there has a plan, and I'm hopefully going to stick to it.
If I had to say anything right now, the Scorpions, I think they're doing pretty good. Alex, TERRIT, Danny, KOLSKI. Didn't know much about Danny now until you told me, which now it's starting to make him look like a pretty scary squad with that little connection, W and J connection, and it's starting to look,
straight power bat lineup, which is scary.
Starting to look dangerous.
I think the one thing a lot of teams are going towards, they're going for bats. I think there's been actually a good mix of bats and pitchers that have gone, but Austin's ready with the next pick of the Bandits.
Thank you, Nate. Now, with the 11th pick, guys, we're starting to roll on through this draft a little bit. It's getting to be a lot of fun. With the 11th pick in the 2021 Baldwin Wiffleball Draft, the Bandits, now led by Tommy Allen, select Teddy BOEHM, going from the Bulls now to the Bandits in the second round. As some people might think it's a little bit of a reach, but Teddy, when he played .625 average in a limited amount of games, what do you guys make of the decision?
All right, so what I wrote down about him and what I know about him, he only played 12 games, but look at the numbers. Out of 88 at-bats that he had 55 hits. That's very impressive. You don't really see that as much. A lot of guys were, below that, maybe in the 30s range by that point, but he had 10 home runs, and he also could hit the ball. He hit people in, and that's huge. Pitching, lacking, but you don't really need that when you got this squad, I think it's a pretty good pick, and what do you guys think?
I mean, I think he is, what you didn't talk about, what you didn't end up getting to was his defensive abilities. I mean, of course, a track star, he's able to cover a lot of ground out there, and basically it's a no-fly zone out there, which is also very valuable in this league.
Yeah, he takes a pick away from John Ziegler, who might have taken him back on that Bulls squad, but great contact hitter in Teddy BOEHM, and you hit it right on the head with the fielding ability. Something we haven't talked about too much so far in this draft about guys defensively. Teddy BOEHM's a guy defensively that can cover any part of the field, really. I mean, you stick him in left field, and you're going to see him over in right center field. He can fly that
He can
fast.
Zoom.
He can move around.
He didn't win a Gold Glove.
On the bases.
Could have won it. Could have won his Gold Glove.
He did. He did win a Gold Glove.
He did win the Gold Glove. He was in contention for a Silver Slugger. Could have got it, but all in all, a great pick by Mr. Allen.
But as we are starting to head deeper in the draft, before we get too deep ahead, there's some new headlines going into the league this year. A couple switch-ups, and the league is slated to start on May 16th this year with opening day for then. The wild card round, finishing up the season July 30th, and then the playoffs, August 1st, championship game that August 8th. These teams, as these guys are selecting 6-man rosters with 6 batters, 5 of those guys in the field, so captains have the choice to put their best defensive ability players out there. Now, GOLVASH, this pertains to you somewhat. Players must play 5 weeks to gain playoff eligibility. Another thing going on, pitching zone slightly lower to support all players. Poor Nick Woods.
poor Woodsy.
And new this year, a buy-in, $20 to help for funding for shirts, prize money, and the banquet at the end of the year. So big steps ahead in Baldwin Wiffleball, but Austin's ready with the next pick in the second round here. Austin, what do you have?
Thank you, Nate. With the 12th pick in the 2021 Baldwin Wiffleball Draft, the Thunder, led by Joey Shields, select Tyler GURCHAK. They're getting the band back together of the old Tiger Swans team. Joey, why did you decide to make the pick, and you're really just keeping this team together going with Tyler GURCHAK, your former captain?
At the end of the year, we were one of the hottest teams in the league. I'm pretty sure we ended the season around a .667 winning percentage in the last 10 games. We were killing it, and it's partially because of Tyler. He brings a great energy. He always gets in the enemy's head. He still hits well, plays the field well. I think he's a really good pick here.
Guys, what do you think?
Yeah, and seeing this pick here, Joey going with someone else on his team from last year, they were a team that really could get inside of people's heads, and I think that's what he's going for again this year, and that's why
the taunt game.
Definitely one of the funniest players in the league. Little things you can say about him. He runs very well, very good power. I think he fields pretty good. Like you said, athlete. Couple of concerns. Pitching wasn't there. I mean, he did pitch, but it just didn't do as well as we would think.
His go-to knuckleball pitch didn't really end up working out too much.
He needs a little bit more of offensive production, knocking more guys in. And other than that, it's either hit a home run or strikeout ratio, which is not really the best. But if he can start hitting more contact and get on the base more easier, I think he's going to be a pretty solid player this year.
Yeah, next pick is in. Luke Couture with the Gators. Austin, what do you have?
13th pick in the 2021 Baldwin Wiffleball Draft, the Gators select Nick Woods, formerly of the Black Bears, now going to the Gators. It was a popular pick that Jeremy Novakowski was talking about for retaining the Black Bear squad. Luke Couture, why'd you decide to make the move?
Hey, Nick Woods is a guy who can hit some home runs, and I think he can pitch more than most people think. He's going to be a good pitcher. I'm thinking me, Mongo, Woods. That's going to be the best pitching in the whole league for the Gators. So that's why I picked Woods. Pitching, he can hit it out of the yard, and he's just a really nice kid. So there you go.
Yeah, just look at that picture there on the graph.
That looks like a dude that's ready to play.
But he brings his moving back and really put the ball out of the park this year. And I think he's a good pick for. Sure. There goes extra your top 10 players on your draft board. All of them are gone. 12 out of your top 13 are gone. Starting to shape up. Teams are starting to shape up. Couture with a pretty big pick here, I think, stealing away from Jeremy and potentially the Black Bears.
Yeah, love Nick. I wish we could have got him again. But, you know, very good pitcher. That's what we needed. That's what we were looking for this year. Hits for power, very good. Gets on base a lot. As you can see, led the league in walks. A couple little things, you know, made a lot of errors over the season, but we worked on it, so he's kind of gotten better with that. And speed, you know, he's kind of a big guy, but he's doing the best he can.
He is slimming down. He is slimming down.
Yes, he is. And I think it's a good pick.
A lot of offseason work for a lot of people in the league, including Nick Woods, Jeremy Novakowski, but Austin's ready with the next pick.
Now, with the 14th pick in the 2021 Baldwin Wiffleball Draft, the Bulls have the selection, and they take Jared Koenig. John Ziegler, Jared Koenig are reunited, and Ziggy gets his guy in the second round. How did you pull this off?
Yeah, so I was actually going back and forth between picking Dom and Jared in the first round, and
you got both.
Yeah, I fortunately was able to let Jared slide, and I'm really excited to have him. I think he has a great baseball IQ. Both my players so far have a great baseball background, so we can really focus on that idea of fundamentals. And both are really quick guys, so we can go back to that mantra that the Bulls had, where just hit it hard on the base paths and play good defense, and that's kind of what led us to success last year, and we're going to try and bring that same success this year.
Yeah, John going with another pick that suits his team's philosophy very well. Small ball team, has some power a little bit, but definitely defensively, and again, speed kills. That's the motto of that team, I think, and they can run the bases like no other team in this league.
Like you said, you know, he runs really well, very good contact hitter. I played baseball with him for years, played in high school. He definitely knows what he's doing, which is great. I think he's a very good leader. He could have been a potential captain this year, in my opinion, but I thought the captains we chose this year were pretty good too. Fields very well. He can run. That's a good thing. Pitching is okay, but he can definitely work on it.
Yeah, and he's an elite contact hitter, and which is exactly what you want to see for in a John Ziegler team.
Yeah, big pick from Ziggy. Let's go back to Austin.
Thank you guys. With the 15th pick in the Baldwin Wiffleball Draft 2021 draft, Black Bears are on the clock, and they select Ben POPKO, another new player to the league. Happens to be Bryce Chapla's cousin, and also is a kicker at Bucknell. Why did you decide to make this selection, Jeremy, and what do you think that Ben's going to be able to bring to the table for you?
So like you said, he is a kicker at Bucknell, so he is an athlete. He's an all-around athlete. We played against him in the playoffs, and he struck me out numerous times, and I couldn't hit off of him, so I can see the potential he has when it comes to pitching, and he will bring good pitching to this team, which is what I was looking for this year.
Yeah, I mean, when I was playing against him, I mean, he had a really good pop in his bat, which hence his name POPKO, which is kind of funny. But he has a lot of power, and he's a lot more quick. He's a lot more quicker than people give him credit for, which I think could be a valuable asset to the Black Bear squad.
Yeah, a player that I don't know too much about. I might have missed that week that he played in the league, but definitely an important pick for Jeremy, second overall. X, any insight real quick?
You know, we talked it over, thought it was a good pick. In my opinion, definitely was a really good pick. You know, from we've seen last year, he definitely could pitch. He hit the ball really well, and I thought he was overall pretty good.
Well, to close out the second round, Seahorses, Colin Sherry's back on the clock. Austin has the pick. Let's see what it is.
With the 16th pick in the 2021 Baldwin Wiffleball Draft, the Seahorses select ADDIE TAGG in the second round. Colin Ruggieri making this pick at the back end of the round after winning the championship game last year. What do you think ADDIE's going to bring to the table to really be able to cement your team for another championship?
So I really think when I look at a wiffle ball league, I look at athleticism as my main priority. And whenever you have so much softball experience, it translates into the same way that baseball would into wiffle ball. And I truly believe she'll add a very good player onto my team, and I'm excited to see what she can bring.
EXLER, you're very high on her. What do you think that she's going to bring as the first full-time female player in Baldwin Wiffleball.
Hey, I've known her for years. Very good softball player. She's in college to play softball. She's good at what she does. She can definitely hit the ball. I know at Booster she's got a couple home runs this year. She's doing a pretty good job. She's only a sophomore. She's young. She knows what she's doing, and I think it's a very good pick for him right there.
My question is how will she pitch? I mean, I don't know how the underhand style of pitching will work with a wiffle ball. But it'll be an interesting thing to find out. But yes, definitely without a question, the bat will be there.
You know, it's a sneaky good pick there. I think Colin goes, you know, sticking with that female trend where they had Faith play a little bit last year with that TJ-esque team, but moving away and going with the Baldwin pick there and Addie Tag. But let's go over back to Austin for the next pick in the draft.
Guys, we begin now the third round of the Baldwin Wiffleball draft. Back with the Scorpions, now the 17th pick, and with the 17th pick in the Baldwin Wiffleball draft. Nick TERRIT Scorpions select Dante Parente. He's a former St. E's guy, so I'm sure he's very familiar to you, Nick, now as a new player to Baldwin Wiffleball this year. What do you think that he's going to bring to the table now pairing Danny and Dante together with also Alex TERRIT? You're basically getting the whole entire St. E's clan back together.
Well, Commissioner, it was just all about just finding the right player. And I feel like Dante will fit the mold. He knows, obviously I know Alex knows him really well. And he's going to have that connection with him and Danny. They all know each other from the Baldwin and TJ era. So I'm very excited to see how they are going to do together. We have our pitching in Danny, and I'm excited now to add another bat to the lineup and get some more hitters in there. Thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah, I guess this is the true St. Elizabeth team, as I made the mistake earlier in calling Austin's team that with the Andy Griffiths not being from St. E's. But a big pick here, Dante Parente, sort of going, I feel like it's a package deal. Danny KOLSKI, Dante Parente, two guys, volleyball guys at Baldwin, St. E's guys, you know, graduated together. I think these are two good picks here, and Dante Parente can bring the bat as well.
Yeah, I think Dante, you know, I've known him, you know, since high school because I played a little bit of basketball with him. Back to that graphic, it said that he loves to compete. That's the number one thing he likes to do, and he has lots of energy. I think he's going to be a pretty good player. I didn't really rank him as high on the list because I didn't think he was going to be, you know, as good, but, you know, now I'm starting to think, you never know, you know?
Exactly, even with the KOLSKI pick. You never really truly know how good a guy's going to be until they step on the field.
Yeah, another newcomer in Dante Parente, but Austin Bechtel's back on the board, the commissioner with the third round and the second pick in the third round.
Thank you, Nate. With the 18th pick in the Baldwin Wiffleball draft, my Firebirds select another guy I'm high on, Johnny Staley, keeping part of the Firebirds together. Johnny Staley now goes to me to be able to pair with Andy Griffiths and Jake Monroe. Really starting to like this team, and guys, I feel like being able to keep Johnny as really a piece that I was able to add basically when Mason, I traded him for Connor Woods, and Connor Woods never showed up. And then Johnny appeared, and now I get to keep him for a second straight year. And I've been talking to him a lot recently, and I'm very excited to have him on board again. Yeah, he was on my board, my 10th best player on my board. To get him at 18, I really liked the selection.
I mean, how can you not like a guy like Johnny Staley?
I mean, look at that mug. Look at that picture of that dude.
Look at that.
He's a guy that I think provided some energy as well, coming in a little bit late into the league, but he was ready to play, and Austin's pretty excited about this pick. X, what do you have for?
So I have him. He's 16th on my list. You know, he's played baseball before. You know, he knows what he's doing. He's a very good contact hitter. That's what he's kind of known for. He sometimes can hit for power when he needs to. I've noticed when he played against us in certain situations, he would hit a bomb here or there. Runs pretty well. A couple little issues. Attendance was pretty good, and but it could be a little bit better. Pitching was a little issue, and fielding wasn't the best, but
just
it could have been better.
Strict bat guy. But again, as you said, fielding can always be worked on. But I think you can't teach that bat.
Right.
Yeah, and also trying to build a championship team, as he obviously struggled. We all know the struggles they went through last year. The lone team to miss the playoffs last year, but they're looking pretty good so far. I really like this team. Jake Monroe, Andy Griffith, Johnny Staley so far, and Austin. Austin, someone we haven't talked about yet. We haven't talked about a lot of the captains. Austin, a great pitcher last year, turned into one of those guys. The bat can be worked on, but I think that pitching and then along with the bats he's selected so far can be really
just as long as he's logged pitches in playoff games, I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, he'll always remember that one. You got me that time.
Exler's not too fond of his playoff experience in the league, and as he's leaving us, X, while we're waiting for this next pick, tell us about what you're excited for going away down to Carolina.
So it's going to be a big step. A lot of competition coming across the country. A lot of guys from the West Coast, you know, East Coast, a lot of North or Western type of guys. Going to be a lot of, you know, a lot of games, 40 games, all wood bat, basic pro instruction, basically, you know, almost like the minors, but
Not the minors.
yeah, it's a collegiate league. You know, basically step up from it. I think the best 4 or 5 players who do well in the league could potentially earn professional baseball contracts, and that's a very, very good thing.
That's very promising if you can pull
Indeed.
it off.
Yeah, your production will definitely be missed in the league. You know, 50 plus homers, 119 RBIs. But Austin's ready with the next pick. Let's see what he has.
Thank you guys. With now the 19th pick in the Baldwin Wiffleball draft, now in round 3. Tommy Allen and the Bandits select Ethan Coulehan, former member of the Bulls, now joining Tommy Allen on the expansion Bandits. Tommy unfortunately couldn't make it here with us tonight, but what do you guys think of his pick of Ethan Coulehan? He was on the speed team last year with the Bulls and John Ziegler. Do you think that Tommy's just trying to replicate that team once again, basically, with a squad of his own?
I think last year and going into this year, you're going to see a lot of similarities between some teams. You're going to see the teams that are going to have the power. You're going to see the teams that are going to have the speed and defensive ability. Ethan Coulehan brings that to the table. 14 games played last year. Not a long ball guy. 2 homers on the season, but
He will get on
28
base.
RBIs. He can hit the ball. He can put the ball